Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural edition of what we are planning as a monthly series of collaboration and knowledge sharing webinars presented by the Alberta-India Chamber of Commerce. My name is Anoshka Fernandez, and I'm proud to be a strategic advisor within the AICC's executive team and the moderator of this morning's session. We are so grateful to have had an overwhelmingly positive response since the formal launch of our chamber on August 10th. This morning, we have invited key leaders from post-secondary institutions in Alberta and India to come together to create familiarity and to start to build bridges for the purpose of deepening ties in this important sector. We have scheduled 75 minutes for this morning's chat, and we are eager to hear from many speakers. So I'd like to quickly outline some ground rules, if you'll permit me, just to make sure that we can keep everything within our allotted time. All participants have been muted by our host. Questions can be inputted into the chat feature, which I am just bringing up right now. I will do my best to go through all questions received at the end of the formal presentations. For any questions we cannot address today, our team will endeavor to distribute a written compilation of answers to all registered attendees by the end of the week. To keep things moving, we will be introducing each speaker by their name and institution only rather than doing a full bio, but we're hoping that the advanced materials we provided to everyone will give you a sense of the folks that are on the call this morning. Each speaker has been allotted 3 minutes, and they will receive a pop-up warning on their screen after 2 minutes has elapsed. We're going to thank everyone in advance for their cooperation to stay within their time allocation to ensure that all of our speakers have a chance to make their points. Welcome again, and with that, I'd like to introduce you to the AICC President, Mr. Anupam Srivastav. Anu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anushka, and welcome everyone. I am just going to make sure that I'm audible enough to all. Use your emojis. I know virtual life has taught us how to use the emoji buttons, so please feel free to applause or maybe just use those buttons to let me know if you are. Okay, good. So welcome everyone. Before I begin, of course, it will be a remiss if I do not introduce my executive team who is with me today, and thank you for joining, all of you. I've got my co-partner or maybe the president of AICC India chapter, Dr. Vandana Srivastav. I've got Puneet Manchanda, who's the Director of Government Relations. I've got Vishal Zaveri, who is the Director of Corporate and Chamber Relations. I've got Anushka Fernandez, who is the Strategic Advisor of Police Policy and Governance. And I've got Honorable Leela Ahir, who is the Strategic Advisor and former Minister within the Government of Alberta, who is our Strategic Advisor for Member Outreach. Today, we mark the 58th day, 58th day of the Chamber being launched. And of course, such a heartening support from all the industry sectors makes me believe that whatever we are doing is certainly good and right for both the regions, which is India and Alberta. And of course, it couldn't be done without the great support from our distinguished and honorable guests here who are present with us, which is our Honorable Consul General Masakui Rungsung, and who's the Consul General in Vancouver, and Honorable MLA and Parliamentary Secretary Shane Getson, and he's the Parliamentary Secretary for Economic Corridor. Folks, education has been a great connector between Alberta and India. A lot of work has already been done and in process as well. And of course, I would like to point out a few things which have been done by Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute, which has got many MOUs with many post-secondary institutions. University of Alberta has got many MOUs with IIT Roorkee, IIT Mumbai. Then U of A also has got a MOU with ICCR, which is the Cultural Relations. Invest Alberta has got an MOU with NASCOM in the field of promoting innovation and tech support. Concordia University has an MOU with Punjab University. So having said that, we felt the first webinar on education makes complete sense because it also connects people to vocations. And of course, it connects all the industry sectors, how important education is in every industry sector. So we thought we'll start our webinar with the education sector. And of course, I am more interested today in listening to such high profile individuals from the field of academia and sharing their knowledge as they share their knowledge. and their experience in bringing the product and services, as much as I'm also interested in listening to how can Chamber be supportive in increasing the momentum of the great bilateral ties. Plus, today, the institutions are coming closer to the students if the students cannot, because you know that there are quotas and all where institutions have got some roadblocks. Now, I'm more interested as a team to listen to ideas where the universities from Alberta or polytechnics from Alberta are planning to open some campuses in India so that they have got access to the larger pool of students. Having said that, there's lots to be done, lots of speakers to be heard. Welcome again, and I'll pass on the floor to my president of Alberta-India Chamber of Commerce India chapter, Dr. Vandana Srivastav.
Thank you so much, Anupam, for such a lovely introduction. Am I audible? Okay. My special thanks to His Excellency Masakoiji and Honorable Shane Getson for accepting invitation. And thank you everyone here today. Your presence means a lot to us. When we talk about education, research, and innovation, it is something very close to our heart. I come from a family where studying hard and building a career was very important. We were always encouraged and sometimes even pushed to learn more and do better. And we have taught the same to our children. As per the data, Canada is still the top country receiving students from India, followed by US, UK, Australia, and US, UK, and Australia. I won't go into the numbers, that is for the expert here, but we truly want to see more students, innovations, and research exchange programs coming from abroad to India as well. We have institutions like IIT, IIM, research center like IISC, where our students have done so well and proved their excellence on the global stage. Having lived in India, Dubai, Switzerland, US, and can say partially in Canada, I have seen many education systems. India has strengths like holistic learning and critical thinking analysis. The new education policy introduced by our Honorable Prime Minister promotes global partnership and learning across different subjects, making India a hub for quality education and contributor to all the world. So I hope this small effort by AICC would go a long way in fulfilling the dream of our leaders and lead a better bonding in future. So thank you very much everybody for accepting our invitation. I would like to call Puneet Manchandaji, please. He's Director AICC. Puneet ji.
Thank you, Vanda. Thank you for providing more context. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you for providing more context to what Anupam had started? This is something that all of us are very, very passionate about having AICC work with the industry, work with all the groups, chambers, institutions, to make sure that we can strengthen this further. It is my pleasure to announce Mr. Shane Getson, our Honorable MLA from Lake Saint and Parkland in the Legislative Assembly of Alberta as the member of UCP. And he has been appointed as the Parliamentary Secretary for Economic Corridor Development on July 13, 2023. Since then, he has been constantly endeavoring to promote the business and the economic corridor initiative throughout Alberta. And one of his key areas, and I can take some credit for getting him introduced into the Indian side of it. And I know by now he's almost half Indian. He likes Indian food. He's been to India. Like when you talk to him, he can be much more Indian than some of us. So yeah, and he's also chair of the India Advisory Board, which is a result of his basically the focus that he's giving to India. That he's the chair of the India Advisory Board, and I'm part of that board as a committee member. but this is something that is making great strides in making the next levels of trade between India and Alberta a better and a bigger reality. So over to our MLA and our chief guest, Honorable Shane Getson.
Well, that's very flattering, my friend. And again, Puneet, he doesn't take enough credit where it was. So Puneet and I, we actually worked together back in the day at a pipeline company called Enbridge, which happens to be the largest pipeline company in North America. And I had the honor of working with Puneet. He was the quality control guy that made sure we built it to the highest level of standards. And I was the execution side, so the project controls and also the execution. And usually those two worlds kind of have a bit of a conflict, but Puneet and I, we made out like peanut butter and jelly on a sandwich. So we're best friends right from that start, very much common interests. And a few years later, I became a politician to try to help out with industry and in my community, a number of things. And I ran into Puneet at a mother-daughter's event held at the city of Edmonton. We hadn't seen each other for a while, and we caught up just like good old family members would at a reunion, so to speak. And then we started, I'm going to say this loosely, conspiring how we could work together to make the province better. So it's the usual group of usual suspects that come together. It's not the pomp and circumstance of titles and positions. It really comes down to what we're doing on this call here today. It's good people getting together with common interests. And then the Indian community, and as Puneet said, I might be half Indian now, but I sure as heck wasn't a few years ago. But I didn't have a ton of exposure to your culture, to the people, other than the typical political events where you kind of pop in, eat the food, make a couple little speeches, and then leave. And that didn't sit well with me. And that's not why I got into politics in the first place. That's not who I am as a person or a man or as an MLA. And what I kept doing was meeting really good, hardworking, smart people that wanted to connect and make the province better. So I thought if your community had given me the chance to come in and welcome me in and teach me part of your culture, then I would share and reciprocate on ours. And then internally pitched our premier on the merits of India, because what I kept coming up with was there was lots of really good opportunities that we're missing out on. And we have such a strong community here in Alberta that we're just missing out on those opportunities. So we gathered people, and no different than a project. You gather good key people that you can work with. And the deal I made with folks was keep this cowboy out of trouble. Don't let me step into the glue by making mistakes on a cultural thing or something else, because my heart is pure and I have the honest intentions. So we gathered good, like-minded people. And we started working quietly in the background for over a year. And it's like that, usual thing where you hear this one-hit wonder band and all of a sudden they're the biggest thing on the radio, but they've actually been working for 15 years. So that's kind of where we were, quietly working in the background. And then, unfortunately, we had a prime minister that didn't have good advice or otherwise, and he really pooched the deal with India of what was taking place. We even had our ambassadors punted out of the country, with the exception of Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan got a pass. And part of the reason behind that was because of the personal relationship that Premier Scott Moe had built with Prime Minister Modi, again, showing that the cultures that India share and we do as rural people, I hate to say, as farming communities and those type of folks, still comes down to that basic principle. You don't get into business with somebody and you don't do that until you get to know them first. And I've become addicted to chai. I swear I love chai. It's just like having coffee at grandma's table is what reminded me of. If you sit down, you have a chai, you talk about things first. And that was how I was raised as well. You get to know the person for who they are. And you don't judge people by the clothes that you wear. You judge them for who they are as a person. And invariably, you get good, like-minded people to do that. So the folks in behind the scenes stuck with me for a year, even though we had that bit of a challenge. And the thing I kept hearing all the time was, Shane, you got to go to India. You have to see it to understand it. And most of the pipeline projects I've been on, you have to look at the right of way. You have to get a feel for the communities that you're working in, the work that you're doing. You have to get to know the hands that are building the projects. You have to know the entire team. So that was good. So I took a leap of faith, and so did my premier, because we basically had a no-fly thing. Officially, diplomacy was not on the table. So I went over on an unofficial personal vacation, and I had some folks step up that did the same thing, and they helped me over there to meet people, and the connections that they provided were outstanding. So it wasn't too hard of a sell once I saw the opportunities, the order of magnitude, the doors that were afforded to us just because we were Albertans and carrying ourselves of good like-minded people, that we started connecting together. And then we managed to formally stand up this summer. I'm so proud of everyone hanging in there and doing that. We formally stood up our advisory council. So there's a number of pillars that we will be formally engaging on. Education is absolutely one of them. It's paramount to make sure that our people on both sides of the pond can work collaboratively together to solve problems and solutions and come up with those collaboratively. In Canada, we're blessed with a large country, small population, tons of resources. India is blessed with, a smaller country arguably than what we have, but tons of resources in human capital and the manufacturing and the agriculture and everything else. And moreover, India's culture that I found out it's old, it's ancient, and it's always been collaborative. It's always been willing to share and work with good folks. And that's what I think we can bring forward and do this. So again, very encouraged to see the Alberta-India Chamber of Commerce come together so we can do that under umbrella. It'll move at the speed of business and of the academics that want to really get things done. The speed of government is a bit slower. And quite frankly, I don't think that we should waste that opportunity on the speed of government. We want to work with good, like-minded people here, continue on with our task force. We've got full green lights across the board from the Premier on this. So it's get after it is what I've been told. So this is very encouraging, and working with a stakeholder group coming together so short or in this order is amazing. And moreover, that you're already putting a branch out in India to do this. So I'm gushing. Thank you so much for being here. Very encouraged what's going on, and go team. This is a golden opportunity for both provinces and the countries together, and we'll lead by example here out in the West.
Thank you so much, Annalie Getson, for your kind words. Puneet, I'm going to ask you to please introduce our next special guest.
Yeah, thank you, Anushka. And thank you, Shane. I know I can maybe just call you by first name, but it is really interesting that you have imbibed and you've actually caught on to the Indian side so quick. Really appreciate that. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Masakoi Rangsang, our Consul General from Vancouver. He's the highest level of Indian diplomat on this side of Canada. And he's responsible for the 5 provinces, including Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, and the 2 on our north. So I know I've been working with Mr. Rangsang for last year or so since he has joined his position. And he actually comes from Jamaica. It's one of the favorite places that I know of. And also, he's actually a very fond badminton player. And I've invited him to come and play badminton with me when he comes next to Edmonton. Anyway, I'd like to invite Mr. Masakoi Rangsang, our Consul General from Vancouver, to share his comments with us.
Thank you, Puneet, for always the luxurious introduction. Honorable Shane Getson and other distinguished guests who are here, and thank you so much for inviting me to be here this morning and the evening that side of the world. It's been a pleasure to associate myself with the AICC. I was there when it was inaugurated in July or June this year, and we've been talking about how timely the formation or the foundation of this AICC, the Chamber of Commerce, is, in view of the fact that the relationship between India and Canada has been on the upswing now with the visit of our Prime Minister in June. And there are intensification of bilateral relationship on both sides. You heard of in the newspaper reports about the imminent visits of foreign minister to India, and possibly our foreign minister coming and participating in the G7 Foreign Ministers Conference, and several other meetings that is taking place among the agencies and other high-level engagements. So I think that's a very timely thing. And Anupam, this is a very good initiative that to start with this education sector, which is very important, despite the fact that there are some issues regarding the immigration policy or those granting of students study permit and students visas. We are a little bit constrained about that, but still, among the international students, Indian students coming to Canada is still the highest until now. I just had the opportunity of visiting few universities, both in Regina, that was last week, and also here in Vancouver. And they are still very enthusiastic about the opportunity to study in Canada. We also are talking about, as far as the education sector is concerned, about the collaboration that Anupam and Puneet also mentioned, our new education policy, which Vandana mentioned about it, and how there are opportunities for universities both in India and in Canada to collaborate. We were having one conversation yesterday at the KPMG, and those friends of ours coming from India, KPMG friends have been also telling about the gift city in Gujarat, where the foreign universities can come and establish, build the universities there, which is such an opportunity for not just universities, but also any other economic and business endeavors to come and invest there. Those are the huge opportunities that's coming up. And I think there's such an opportunity for engagement at all levels, including, of course, in the education sector. Apart from this gift city, but there are conversations going on. I can mention a few of them: the SFU, Simon Fraser University, Victoria University, and few others who are also thinking of collaborating with other universities, where there will be the collaboration, the course where you can do 2-year course in India and finishing up with the second half of the 2 years course in Canada, Canadian universities. And those are opportunities. Those are the new methods of coping with what is going on in the education sector. So I am very happy to be here and like to listen to the experts who will be talking about how things can move forward. Thank you so much once again, Anupam, Puneet, and Shan, for being all the time there, for being half an Indian. And I've been here for a little bit over 1 year, but I feel as if I have known for a decade. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Consul General. We sincerely appreciate all of your support of our chamber since we've gotten started. So folks, we're now going to get into the roundtable of the speakers from the post-secondary institutions. Just to reiterate how this process is going to work, everyone's been allotted 3 minutes. You're going to get a nudge at 2 that your last minute is up, and that's when I'm going to come on as on the camera as well as the featured speaker, so you'll have an additional visual nudge. The first person that I would like to welcome to speak is Ms. Buffy St. Amand, who is joining us from the University of Calgary. Buffy, please go ahead. Kush, I think we have a mute issue.
I see that it is unmuted, but I think there's an issue from the microphone.
Are you able to hear me? No?
No, we can't hear you.
Little bit. Buffy, you are a little bit audible, little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, now.
There you are. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. It must have been my connection. So you can all hear me now? Great. Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for the invitation to bring greetings from the University of Calgary and to talk a little bit about our relationship with India. I have to say we have a lot going on with India, and yeah, it was really hard to kind of put that into a few minutes of being able to highlight some of the of the initiatives that we have. I was just in India, in Delhi, this past March to attend API, the Asia Pacific International Education Conference. And while I was there, I also had the opportunity to participate in the SASTRI bilateral academic forum. And it was great to be able to be in conversations with other universities in India and then to find out, where is some potential. So I'm just going to highlight a few things. We have a lot going on with India. So first and foremost, we have many international students that do come to the University of Calgary to study. And from 2018 to 2024, we had over 7,000 students that came from India. We also have many UCalgary students who participate in outgoing global learning programs with institutions and organizations in India. And one that I wanted to highlight is a field school that we have on social issues and sustainable development that has happened this past summer, and it's also being organized again for this coming summer. So we have a group of students that go to Delhi and Accra and a few other cities to really learn about sustainability, and they get credit for the courses that they do on the ground. And that's a really popular one for our students. We also have over 1,200 co-publication by UCalgary researchers and affiliates in India. So that's showcased the depth and breadth of our international research collaboration specific to India. And again, I could go into details about topics and all of that, but there's over 1,200. So we would need to have a full day to be able to kind of go into all the details. Currently, we have 3 agreements with institutions in India. I know that our Schulich School of Engineering is in the process of establishing a joint program with IIT Roorkee around civil engineering and engineering in specific to water. So that's an initiative that is being led by the Department of Civil Engineering here at the University of Calgary, and we're hoping to have that program roll out soon. We also have several of our faculty members hold academic credentials from India. So not long ago, we hosted a kind of a roundtable with all of our professors that had connections to India. And the stories of collaboration was really neat to be able to kind of see what they were working on. Many of our faculty members have very strong links to industry in India. And so we have a professor that's been involved with ONGC and for more than 30 years, and every year, again, connecting with the company into providing opportunities for his student. And that's just been a long-term established relationship with that particular professor. A few more things I just wanted to highlight is we have lots of postdocs that do come from India. So just in the past 4 years, we had over 180 postdoc that came to us from India. The other kind of highlight that I feel like it's really important to share is Dr. Ubashi Sinha. She's a professor at the Raman Institute and is also Canada Excellence Research Chair in Phonetic Quantum Science and Technology at the University of Calgary. That's a really high profile chair program that we have here in Canada, and she is connected to the Raman Institute. So again, showcasing that partnership is really important. We also have a partnership with Memphis around quantum. This is a collaboration with the government of Alberta, and it's really about building our quantum ecosystem, not only in Calgary, not only for the University of Calgary, but also for Alberta. So I'll stop there. These were just a few highlights that I wanted to share from the University of Calgary's perspective, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, I also had Cassie Burkholder joining us, but I do not see her on the participant list. So we are going to move to a representative from an Indian post-secondary institution. So at this time, I'd like to invite Suranjan Das to please provide his thoughts. You're still showing as muted, sir.
Yeah.
There you are.
Well, could I first thank the AICC for giving me this opportunity to participate in this webinar. Uh, I would like to confine myself within 3 minutes time and highlight some key points about what I see as the major feature of the new education policy 2020, and that is the internationalization of Indian higher education system. And I see this webinar in the context of that particular aspect of the new education policy. Now, in the internationalization of the Indian higher education system, the Indian government is obviously placing emphasis on academic mobility, the student mobility, and staff mobility. Within the staff mobility, there is emphasis on transfer of credits, training program, immersion programs, and joint degrees perhaps will be allowed soon. So far as staff mobility is concerned, there is emphasis on short visits, joint supervision of PhD candidates. This is very, very important because the student can be enrolled in my university, that is Adamas University, as a doctoral candidate, but she or he can have a supervisor in Alberta, and the two examiners would be examining the candidate jointly. And although the candidate will be given the doctoral degree of Adamas, but there will be a reference that she or he had an external supervisor. I think this is a big step more forward to the ultimate provision for joint degrees. Then there is great emphasis on the two faculty members of Indian universities and foreign universities coming together for organizing joint workshops, for developing joint research projects, and for short-term visits on a mutual agreeable system. For example, if the faculty members of Alberta visit Adamas, we'll be very happy to provide them with local hospitality. And similarly, when our Adamas University faculty members go to Alberta, we would expect a reciprocal local hospitality, and we would be providing them with airfare. But what is more important, the new education policy is trying to go beyond these traditional academic mobility programs. The new education policy correctly emphasizes the strengthening of the link between industry and university, what we call the industry linkage. And I think this industry linkage can be pushed forward through international academic collaboration. This is a new opening for the Indian academics, the Indian industries, the foreign academics, and the foreign industries to come together. Because experience has shown, unless inventions can become innovations, the scientific progress ultimately hits a dead wall. Therefore, there is a great emphasis on consultancy projects, startups, internships, and this should be the new agenda of a future development of academic relationship between Alberta and India. I would also like to emphasize there is another way in which the Indian universities can gain from the Canadian experience, and this is what I call the greater emphasis on interdisciplinary research and training. Of course, this process has started in India, but this process needs to accelerate it, and we can learn a lot from the Canadian experience. We need to bring together experts across disciplines, social scientists, basic scientists, engineers, lawyers, etc., to discuss issues like sustainable development, like climate change. These are the issues which cannot be addressed by one single discipline. This has to be addressed in a collective basis. So I think that is, again, another way in which Canadian and Indian academics can contribute to a great extent to the enrichment of the holistic knowledge system. I'd like to make a final point. Our university has already recently signed an agreement with the University of Windsor. We have a connection with the York University, and I'll be very, very happy to develop connections with universities in Alberta. I believe India and Canada shares common historical experience. I believe India and Canada shares many basic values in terms of international relations. India is now at the forefront of foregrounding the values of G20, the experience of G20, and Canada has been consistently supporting this particular stand of India. I think that is also an additional element which should bind the Indian and Canadian universities together. So I believe there is a great scope, and on behalf of Adamas University, I extend full-hearted support to the AICC to promote academic linkages with Alberta University based in Alberta and universities in India. Thank you very much, Bandana, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor Dr. Saranjan Das ji. And now I'd like to call Dr. Anil Kumar. He's from Delhi University, and now he's CEO of Delhi University Foundation. Please, Anil ji.
Thank you, Vandana, and it's a pleasure to be associated with the AICC, and really good initiative which Anupam ji and you and other team members have taken it. And I think the ties with the India-Canadian ties are improving, and a lot of scope and opportunities where we can take it forward. Like rightly said in the beginning, that the National Education Policy 2020 has come, which has been fully implemented in our university and other universities of the country also. This policy gives ample scope for globalization of the education. Of course, it was already there. We already have the collaborations with many universities in the US, in Europe, and other countries of the world. But taking a clue from the National Education Policy 2020, I think the scope has been widened up, and now it's a time of interdisciplinary research, where I think that we can do a lot in collaborative research also. And at the same time, the industry is to be taken into partnership, and the scope for applied research also, the research which is applicable to the industry, which can be applicable for the welfare of the people of both the countries and also the industry as a whole. So that way, I think that the Chamber of Commerce here is doing a wonderful job, and we can always find opportunities of collaborative research in the area which is applied area and which is interdisciplinary area also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumar. I would next like to invite to speak Dr. Vivek Gupta from Sharda University. Dr. Gupta, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anushka ji. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
You are.
Okay. It's an honor to be speaking on such a forum. Thank you so much for inviting me. In fact, so most of the members, I would like to just highlight that I represent Sharda University as its registrar, and I'm also the head of HR, CHRO. So we as a university, because we are already placed in top 100, so we are very well placed to deepen our partnership with Alberta's higher education ecosystem. For example, the University of Alberta, University of Calgary, or Lethbridge and others. So we can take these discussions forward, and we can have stronger tie-ups with Canadian universities. We would also like to, I would also like to highlight that with Canada and Alberta in particular, what is really important is to make partners for not only Indian higher education system, but also for research ties, right? Where we can have translational research, the research which can translate into products, right? And we also wanted to enter into MOUs with which are basically producing some outcome. Apart from student mobility or industry-linked innovations, we have to see meaningful MOUs so that something real comes out of those discussions. Now, as far as student mobility and pathway programs are concerned, see, my take is going to be that let us expand short-term 4 to 12-week research internships and semester exchanges for UG and PG students, leveraging MITEX as you have, and AICT, and of course the national education policies allows that nowadays. For example, Shastri pathways to subsidize cost and secure placements. These programs are basically attractive to students and bring long-term institutional relationships. We can also develop particular pathway agreements for 1+1 or 2+1 or direct transfer credits with Alberta partners. This increases enrollment pipeline while keeping at campus intake very stable. We can also initiate, I think, what we call as a low-hanging fruit is to offer joint degree programs, or rather co-supervised PhDs. If we can do that, there are certain factors to take care of. For example, certain visa and environment related issues which we have to mitigate, certain accreditation and credit transfer issues, QA issues. But I think we can pretty well overcome that. If you honestly ask me, let us start with low risk, high visibility pilots, short internships, plus let's say a seed project, research funded project, using existing bilateral funding programs such as Shastri and Mitex, and Alberta's active university networks to scale. This stage approach, I believe, is going to let our university, Sharda University, demonstrate outcomes pretty quickly while building credibility for larger joint degree and program investments. So this is what I have to submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. Next, just to let everyone know, I did get a private message. Unfortunately, Ms. Burkholder from is it Nate? Yes, Nate in Edmonton was unable to attend, and she did send a delegate here, but he does not have any formal presentation to share. So thank you for that message, Janai. In the meantime, I would now like to throw to our colleague at Invest Alberta, Mr. Shane Jaffer, to come on and share his thoughts. So Shane, please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you very much again for allowing me to join this call, and good evening to our colleagues in India. We're excited that this is really, it's hard to imagine day 58 for the Alberta-India Chamber and all the things that they've been able to accomplish within a short time. At Invest Alberta, we are the investment attraction body that helps bring investment into our province. And I will say that we have 17 offices around the world, including one in India, that really has continued to build relationships between Alberta and India. And over the last few months, we've already seen fruits of that engagement. We've had a number of IT companies have set up opportunities here. And in some of those relationships, we found that there's a strong relationship between their need to identify labor and research opportunities with academic institutions. So the idea of institutions from India and Alberta coming together is vital to help strengthen the technology sector, but other sectors that we see that could benefit both countries mutually as well. So from Invest Alberta, I want to thank the team for the time that they've given us to participate. And again, this ability to bring institutions together, I see will lead to other opportunities for collaboration between Alberta and India. So thank you very much. And again, congratulations to the team on putting this together as well.
Thank you so much, Shane. Really appreciate those kind words and your support as well. I would next like to invite Dr. Shali Mahajan to come on screen and share her thoughts. So Dr. Shali?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So at the outset, let me thank His Excellency Consul General of India and Honorable Shane Getson and AICI for this wonderful platform. And thank you for your gracious introduction. Well, to begin with, when two regions with different strengths come together, one with world-class research and the other with a vast pool of patients and clinicians, the bridge, what we build in is not just academic, but I think it's transformative. And this is what Alberta-India collaboration would represent. Well, I am master's in orthodontics and have served for around 20 years, both in private as well as right now I'm heading the department in a government sector, that is Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, which is one of the premier institutes in Lucknow, India. So I hope I can contribute, as looking at the strengths and the gaps which I have learned over the years of my learning experience. So coming to a quick overview in the current landscape, if you see, according to the Canadian Dental Association, the practicing or the registered dentist over the data which I've heard and found from the year 2022 to 2023, there have been around 23,000 dentists which have been there, practicing in Canada. And that roughly accounts to 6.2 dentists per 10,000, people who are there. And whereas in India, according to the Dental Council of India and National Health Profiles, there is 1,17,800, dentists who are like practicing in India and registered, and that translates to 0.85 to, 10,000 people. So this is the vast disparity and lack of shortage in India. But on the other hand, if we see the dentists in Alberta, Alberta has got, world-class health facilities. So the dentist in Alberta has got excellent undergraduate and postgraduate programs. But the major challenge is the licensing, these, because foreign trained dentists who come, they must complete or qualify certain exams like NDEB, and they're non-accredited certifications, and they have limited restricted practice. So this involves high cost and time. Many succeed, but then they stay. And some of them, they have to again return back who do not succeed, and they have to join academics and become clinicians. Whereas on the other side, India, due to its vast population, cultural richness, we have large demographic, we have like huge patient database and challenges which can add to the experience of a clinician. So I think the journey is more meaningful, blending innovation and practical application if we have a structured collaboration between these two countries. So let me suggest a few practical ways where this partnership can grow, and can become stronger. First is the scholarships. So Alberta can fund some top Indian graduates to join some Canadian programs with a clause to return back to India and serve in India. There can be joint PhD and research programs where we can have, Alberta labs can be used, laboratories, and part of the Indian clinics can be used for gaining experiences and solving some real, world problems, like joint publications can be presented, there can be patents, unique cases can be presented so that they can add, to the vast experience of a clinician. There can be faculty development programs, short training programs, which we can go for Alberta. There can be some, online mentoring which can occur. Student exchange programs like Shastri Alberta programs are supported, but they are more on the other side. But dental and public health programs can also be included in this. I would suggest there can be MOUs with the universities. We have KGMU University. We have, other universities which are one of the prime universities. So we can have some collateral, these MOUs which can be there. We can have innovation hubs which can co-create, affordable devices, some tele-dentistry platforms, preventable care models, and funded jointly, as pointed out by many other dignitaries. So these will be more beneficial, because India, how it would help is improve, upgrade the training and the research quality, whereas in Alberta, it will gain a global platform and real world scenarios. So my concluding remarks will be like strong nations are built on strong collaborations. So these bridges between Alberta and India will not only will be built with steel or concrete, but with shared ideas, young mind, and courage. Let's ensure that they are strong so that the generations of students and teachers can all be, benefited with this, and they can walk with a smile, which will reflect in the strength of our partnership towards a healthier and brighter future. Thank you once again, AICC and all the August dignitaries, because this is across the globe. You have been here for your kind attention. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shally. And I did neglect in my introduction of you to note that you are affiliated with the University of Lucknow. So I apologize for that. There's a lot of furious chats and things behind the scenes happening to make sure that we stay on track. So I'm sorry I missed that.
You are great, Anushka. You're great.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker that I'd like to bring on is Dr. Praveen Gupta, who is the chairperson and professor with Manipal Business School in Dubai. So Dr. Gupta, the floor is yours.
Yes, hi. Can you guys hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me on this forum. Many of you would be wondering what is this gentleman from Dubai doing in a collaboration exercise between Alberta and India. So let me start with a common statement which many people in the region understand. And it goes like this, that which are the two best cities in India? And the answer is Dubai and Singapore. So for those of you who are basically, who understand the geography of Dubai, Dubai is a small city in Middle East, in a country called UAE, United Arab Emirates. And head the business school of an Indian university called Manipal University. And basically, this is, I mean, India and UAE have very, very old collaboration. This university itself, the Dubai episode of the university was established about 25 years back. Currently, we have about 3,100 students studying in our university. Dubai demographics is such that you think that it's a different city, it's a different country. It is, but it is hugely populated by Indians. We have about nearly half of the population of Dubai is Indian. Dubai's population is about 4 million. Of that, about half are Indians. Out of about 400,000 students studying in various higher education programs in and around UAE, about 44% are Indians. Many of them are the second generation and third generation children of the immigrants who have come over the years from India, and some of them they come as students purely for the education purpose, first time out of India to Dubai. Now, where do we fit in terms of collaboration with Canada? I think any Canadian when they go to India, most of them would have a stopover in Dubai. So Emirates and Etihad being the two big airlines in general, they would go from Dubai. So connectivity wise, we are very well connected to nearly all Indian cities. And what we have to offer is it's a very big campus which we have within Dubai in an area called Academic City. We have our own hostels. So anytime when you actually are thinking of collaborating with India, you can think of Dubai as another leg. Spend 1 week with us in our university. We can have immersion programs for your students. And vice versa. So we have batches of students running who would benefit from programs overseas. Specifically speaking, at this point in time, I am looking for a university somewhere around the globe where I can take 25 of my students for about a month, where they would actually study. So if there is University of Calgary is there, some other universities in Alberta, if you are open to this idea, we can take it forward. Specifically speaking, in the next 6 months or so, there is this opportunity. But apart from this, one or two opportunities here and there, I think there is a broader perspective, and that perspective is that education is something which joins all of us together. All those young and hungry people who are coming from these developing world, they are the one who would be the engine for growth in future. If you look at the median age in Canada, it's around 41, 42. Median age in India is about 28. So the young population of the world is this side of the world. So I think we would learn a lot from the Canadian experience, and at the same time we can provide the young and hungry people who are going to own the world as we go forward. So this is a great initiative which has been started by Anupam and Vanna. I think this is really good, and we should take it forward. I would just stop at this point in time, but my contacts are there. If any of you want to extend your hand for collaboration, please reach out to me. More than welcome to take that talk forward. Thank you very much. Over to you, Anushka.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. Really appreciate that. Okay, next I'd like to invite Sabo Alexander to please come on. He is the Finance and Public Relations Officer with the Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute at the University of Calgary. Go ahead, Sabo.
Good morning, everyone, and good evening to my colleagues in India. I know that many of you touched the topics of Shastri. Yes, I just would like to brief a little bit about Shastri, and I'm sure I'll not take more than 3 minutes. So Shastri was established in 1968 by Lester Pearson, former Prime Minister of Canada, in memory of Lal Bahadur Shastri, whom he met in 1965. So the initiative was from McGill University, University of Toronto, and UBC. They are our founding members. Today, we have around 170 plus institutions from Canada and India as our members. There are around 34 from Canadian side universities, basically, and around 125 to 130 universities from India, all the IITs, IIMs, NITs, All India Institute of Medical Science. So I work as I said, I work as Finance and Public Relations Officer at the University of Calgary office, which is our head office. Buffy is here to endorse that. We have been here for almost 40 years at the University of Calgary. Our India office is in Delhi, and we have a director there, Dr. Prachi Kaul, who is managing the Indian side of operations. So we are the only binational organization that is supported by both governments, Government of India and Government of Canada. And to mention about Alberta, we signed an MOU with Government of Alberta in 2023, March of 2023, when Minister Demetrius was a Minister of Advanced Education. It was an initiative from former Premier Honorable Jason Kenney. So under that initiative, we were able to send around 18 students on an work internship in India with Indian institutions affiliated to Indian industries. So those institutions are IIT Ropar, IIT Roorkee, IDC, MNIT Jaipur, and Christ University. So we provided around $8,500 to students for their travel and internship expenses. So it worked out so well. We'll have the next batch going next year, around 12 of them. And also we sent around 5 faculty from Alberta's post-secondary institutions to various Indian institutions in India. So actually I was, I was lucky enough to travel to institutions deep inside Alberta, as far as Laklabish, areas where they hardly know anything about India. So I was able to help them understand what India is all about, how India has changed over a period of years. Again, the second topic I wanted to touch was, untapped opportunities. There are several areas of opportunities that we may have, including digital AI, digital services, and digital health, and climate action, areas where we could touch. And some of my colleagues mentioned, I know Shali mentioned about dental. That's a big issue here, because my brother-in-law is a dentist, and he took him 10 years to get certified here. And some of the challenges that we have are geopolitical factors, which I believe is addressed now, credential recognition and funding sustainability, which is very important to sustain these kind of operations. And also, I just wanted to say that apart from that, so again, thank you very much. The last, there was also an MOU that was signed in 2011 when I just joined. It was between Alberta and Maharashtra, and there were some activities under that MOU too. Thank you again for Alberta Chamber of Commerce for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Sabha. Really appreciated your interventions there as well. Our final speaker in today's roundtable is going to be Ms. Priyanka Dikshit, who is the Global Head of EduFinit. So Priyanka,
hey, Anushka,
please come on.
Anushka, sorry.
Yep.
It should not be the final, because we also have Cole Baker from Jetty join us, just to let you know. Please go ahead.
Oh, she did join. Okay, fantastic. Yes. Okay, so Priyanka, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I am Priyanka Dikshit, and I have worked in the past with All India Radio, BBC World Service Trust, and ANI Reuters as a media professional. Lastly, with CMS, which is an international educational setup in Lucknow. And therein, I was involved with education as much as with media, and lots of public relations, lots of liaison with media, with schools, with film stars, and so much more. So I would love this combination if I could, contribute wherein you talk about education, also wherein you talk about media support. That could be, and as I said, I have been a PR professional as well, which I learned on job. If you need my assistance by way of networking, relationship building, providing thought leadership, and all kinds of stuff you call media, like media outreach, strategic communication, I could always be there. And also, as I was listening to the eminent speakers, like Shelly Mahajan, an orthodontist advocating educational exchange in dentistry. Why not the same for media students? And then, as that sir from Sharda University was saying, we could promote more of short-term programs, like say semester exchange program or one-year exchange programs. And as the educationist Buffy from University of Calgary said, she was talking about projects on sustainable development and the like. I would like to add on, maybe we could have similar projects to do with culture, business, and those kind of things. So this is it.
Great. Thank you so much, Priyanka. There seems to be some confusion in our chat group as to whether or not Ms. Cole Baker from the Alberta Ministry of Jobs, Economy, Trade and Immigration is on the line. There are a couple of phones here. So Cole, are you with us still? Okay, not hearing anything. She may have had to leave. So thank you everyone for all of your chat. I am going to throw it back to Anu. And thank you for your patience with me. It is a very, very stressful job to be the moderator and to try and keep people on track. But I think we did make up some time. So thank you everyone for your cooperation. And it was very enlightening. So appreciate all of your presentations. And I'm going to turn it back to Anupam to close out the session.
What a power hour, Nushka, and what a job done by all. Before that, I would be remiss if I do not mention about a few people who joined us. And of course, they did not get speaking time. I've got Jyoti Taylor from Alberta Innovates here, a great professional, great friend, representing a great organization and working with the chamber. Also, I have Claudia Bognar here joining us. She is also she's representing an institution from Alberta. So thank you so much for all for joining. And again, as I said, what a power hour, what an engaged audience. And each one of you, I heard, has got so much already to say about the relationship and great work being done. My big question, as I represent the chamber, the team of Alberta-India Chamber of Commerce, the biggest question would be how can the chamber assist to increase the momentum which is already there? I also heard some challenges, and of course, challenges means good, because challenges mean the work is going on and there are roadblocks, and our job is to remove those. I would like to hear from you all, how can the chamber help you to remove the roadblocks, both from the India side and Alberta side, because the executives which have been picked, they've been picked by a very thoughtful way, because due to the network or the connections or their movement, and also their experience may come very handy in helping us move those big roadblocks. Any specific program, any specific institution of your choice, if you happen to make some notes, and if you like to maybe organize one-on-one with those, because I hear that there's a lot of work in the field of dentistry or in the field of engineering, where Buffy said, or many of you are just bringing on such programs. If you'd like to maybe engage somebody's on the side, let us know, because this is our job to build that platform, that the bridge. Any programs on upcoming technologies like the clean tech technologies, the electrolyzer technology, the protein extraction in agriculture, any of that things, if you're working on, if you'd like to know more, both the sides, chamber is the way to go. And you know that we are working very hard in bringing the professionals and keeping them engaged through our newsletters. And of course, how can we start this process on some of those who are still not engaged or are not into the MOUs, because we can certainly help you start the process, because we've got great professionals here. With that, of course, I want to thank once again all of you, but I think we've got some time for some question answers as well. I want to engage most of you, and also to folks who did not get time today to talk to, first of all, Jyoti or Claudia, if you had a couple, 3 minutes to maybe take and come on the floor, be my guest today, because we already are so much engaged. With that said, I'll pass on to Anushka once again to maybe allow some questions, and also to participants who did not get time to talk. Thank you.
Thanks, Anupam.
And before that, if I do not get a chance to come back again, my heartfelt thanks to two distinguished honorable guests here, Honorable Masako Rangsang, a great individual who has been certainly a momentum and an inspiration for us, and Honorable MLA Shane Getson, who has always been a great friend, inspiring us all through. So thank you both for joining, accepting at the last minute, and also I know how busy your schedules are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anupam. There is a chat feature. If you go along the bottom of your screen, I have not seen any questions come in, and I did place the email address for the chamber in there if there are any follow-up questions or ideas that you would like to share. But to Anupam's point, for any of the additional joiners who did not get a chance to speak and would like to say anything, we've got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to maybe ask you to raise your virtual hand so that our meeting host can enable you to come off mute. Kush, I do see that both Jyoti and Ravi Swami have put their hands up. So could you maybe put Jyoti on first? Go ahead, Jyoti. I think you are spotlighted and you should be able to come off mute.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I lower my hand now. Okay, first of all, thank you for this invitation. And it's actually my pleasure meeting all of you. And what a great conversation. And I'm very excited to be part of this initiative. I'll just start with my brief introduction. My name is Jyoti Taylor. And actually, I was born and brought up in Mumbai. So I'm a Mumbaiker. I don't speak Marathi well, but I'm very good at Gujarati, Hindi, and English. So my professional background is I hold master in chemistry. I also have executive MBA from University of Alberta. I have been living here last 25 years, and I have been supporting life science, nutraceutical, and pharmaceutical industry in areas such as business development, quality assurance, quality control, regulatory compliance, and now actually digital health technology. So great to hear about the untapped market that I believe Dr. Shabu Alexander mentioned, that untapped opportunity. I'm really very open to hear more about what kind of innovation happening in India and how we can collaborate. So again, it's my honor to actually to be part of this conversation. And after hearing a lot of everybody, I'm pretty sure that, and I'm very confident that this is going to open the door to new opportunities for collaboration and shared progress. Since I've been living here last 25 years, I've been involved in nutraceutical, pharma, and life science. I've heard a lot of similarities that actually I think that, we can definitely fill this gap. So again, looking forward to meeting more people and see how actually we can collaborate in this initiative. So again, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. There was previously an additional hand up by Ravi Swami from India. Ravi, did you still want to speak? Okay, go ahead, please. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
There
now
you
I
are.
am. Yeah, there I am. Actually, I mean, I've been listening to all this, and I have known Vishal Zaveri for a very long time. I mean, most of the universities and people who talked about, I know the antecedents of all of them because I've worked in the education field for more than 30 years, set up a lot of medical, dental colleges, blah, 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 lot of schools. Right now, we are working on artificial intelligence in terms of getting children qualified for NEET and JEE because in India today, STEM, and not in India, globally, unless you have a STEM degree, it doesn't matter. And in India, to get STEM, you need to be either JEE or NEET. So we have created an artificial intelligence program not to teach people physics, chemistry, biology, maths, etc., but to actually evaluate and mind map them on how to work on it. And I feel today, because I've worked in the industry too, when engineers used to come to work for me, I would ask them, do you know how a lathe machine works? And the guy would say, no. Are you a mechanical engineer? Yes. Guy doesn't know how a lathe machine works. So surprising. But that's the way the education system is. Then we built Gujarat Knowledge Society, that is skill development. Then it became an SDC. So I've been a part of that journey. I feel it is time that globally, I just don't mean Canada or India or anywhere. Globally, we need to actually enhance our education in such a way that people are able to actually give throughput. I'm not saying output, throughput in their work. Now that becomes very important for education institutes. That's why some education institutes do extremely well, because their children get selected with high salaries because they are able to give throughput. Most other institutes just teach, graduate, postgraduate, finished. So that's all I wanted to say.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and very much appreciate you being on the webinar this morning. We did book this to end at 5 minutes from now at 10:15 here in Edmonton, and I am too tired to do the mental math of what time it is in India right now. But we do have time if there is anyone else. We probably have time for one more speaker. I'm seeing a physical hand up from Suranjan. So Kush, could you please unmute? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to raise two quick points. One is that to recognize excellent efforts of Shastri Institute in acting as a catalyst for Indo-Canadian academic programs. But I would humbly suggest that Shastri Institute also needs to reorient its traditional approach to Indo-Canadian higher education collaboration, because they need to bring on board the industry component. That is one point I wanted to mention. And the second point is that whenever we try to develop Indo-Canadian research agenda, we should always try to keep in mind the importance of addressing issues in the rural sector of India. We very often forget that. So when we talk of industry, the rural component needs to be taken into account most. When we talk of climate change, we need to take into account the rural sector. When we talk of public health, as Madam was referring to, we need to give a special emphasis on the rural needs. So these are the 2 points I wanted to mention.
Great, thank you so much. We are just at about time, everyone, and I am going to put into the chat right now a link to the Alberta-India Chamber of Commerce's website, where our Become a Member form is now live. So if you've gotten some good value out of today's conversation and you'd like to become an official member of the Chamber, we would certainly welcome you to follow that link and undertake the Become a Member form. Otherwise, it is on behalf of my chamber colleagues, I want to sincerely thank all of you for your participation, including all of our speakers. And again, a special thank you to MLA Getson and Consul General Wongsung for your support, attendance, and just your general encouragement of all of the work that we are doing. So thank you everyone for attending. I really hope you have enjoyed today's conversation, and we will look forward to keeping this going as we move forward. Oh, sorry, I think Dr. Vandana was going to say something as well.
No, not at all.
Hi.
I think Sabu was raising his hand actually. He wanted to say something. Mr. Sabu, please. Kushagra, can you please bring Mr. Sabu? Yeah, okay. You can remove me. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vandana. I just want to address what Dr. Suranjan Das mentioned, and I really appreciate that. Shastri had already taken that initiative of working with the industry, and as a part of it, what we are doing right now is sending these student interns to India, and it is an industry academia partnership whereby, say for example, IIT Roper might have some connection with the industry, and the student works on that industry project for almost 6 to 8 weeks. So we have already initiated it. Thank you for your advice.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, again for your participation.
Hey,
oh, no.
Anushka,
Okay.
sorry. We should use every minute, every bit of it. In fact, it'll be a remiss to really thank a few people before we go. First of all, the AICC executive team. You're doing such a good job and keeping us so proud. So first of all, thank you, the entire executive team. Second of all, Anushka, thank you. Job well done in terms of keeping every one of us on time. My sincere thanks to Kushagra, who has joined us from Boston, who has been handling the Zoom so very well. Thank you so much, Kushagra, and to all my friends who have joined. In fact, this is how professionals relationships are turning into friendships as well. Yes, we are long ways to go. We are coming up with some joint committees, especially in the specific subsectors And we will invite each one of you to see if you have a place there and you want to really work with us jointly in the field of education between India and Alberta. So lots coming. This is our first webinar, so apologies if you felt that we were rushing. We are learning. There's nothing called losing, but we are either winning or learning. So stay tuned for more webinars like this. It's a monthly feature. And of course, we will include you in all. And thank you for the members who did not get time, but who are all members of AICC who graciously joined, are listening to us, watching us, and also supplying with so much of energy and so much of inspiration, ideas that we need it all. And we promise that we will continue this momentum. Thank you, everyone. And back to you, Anushka.
Nope, that was a perfect closing comment. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. And we will now end the recording and end the webinar. So thank you again, and wishing you all a great evening and a great day.